wanted to get you a video of Smokey. We're just working on some impulse control and focus out in the yard today. We're working on place. So place is really good for a number of things. Just putting him on a spot that's safe. Putting him where he has to practice impulse control despite distractions, whether that's people coming and going from the house or even just in the yard. So I like place. It's versatile. I can move it around. I think a lot of people think it's just for the doorbell or it's just for food and the dog kind of gets stuck there. But this is just impulse control as people are walking in the neighborhood, as dogs are walking by. You know, we're asking a lot of impulse control from him. And there's a level of respect that I'm getting from him. So that's going to be really important going forward, is getting respect from Smokey. So as he heard his name, he's like, am I allowed to go? So he's not a dog that just gives that freely. So it's almost like you have to work with him in order to get it. So when he first meets a person, he's going to be more pushy with that person because there's no respect that he has for that person. And as we go throughout training with him, it's going to be really important that we coach people on some of these things, and if they're not coachable, then they don't get to pet them, because having a non-coachable person with a dog that's really pushy and willing to use their mouth or jump on you, that's where the peeing is not going to stop. It's going to continue because he sees every person in an adrenalized state, and so he'll continue to push boundaries and also pee and also get mouthy, and all of those things are connected. Even though the peeing isn't necessarily something he can help, it's not like he's peeing out of spite or anything like that, but it's connected to a state of mind that's not healthy. And so we want to make sure that, like, even ourselves who have a relationship with him, that, you know, typically first thing in the morning, I don't give him a lot of affection. I just open up the crate and let him go potty and get everything out. And then I'm pretty calm with him. So even when I come up and I give him affection, I want him to be calm. And so I'm doing it down below. I'm not going over the top of him. And I'm if he gets mouthy and he gets rude, I'm going to correct him for those things, because affection isn't adrenaline. It's calm. It's not. So adrenaline is in fact the opposite of affection, because it's not a healthy state of mind. So we're gonna have to be really aware of those things moving forward with him as he gets ready to go home. And that's okay. Like, he trains like a shepherd and he trains like a pit bull, and these are things that I see in both of those breeds quite frequently, is this tendency to feel very guarded and defensive about their personal space. And that's been bred into them for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so there's things that we can do to work through those things, and the first and foremost is that relationship that we have with him. And I also like to bring a lot of food into the equation. I don't want him to be pushy for the food or be rude for the food. I want food to be coming from a place of calmness. And so how I present the food is important, where I'm not getting him riled up for it because I'm putting him into a lot of prey drive or anything like that. I want it to be very, very calm. So got this other dog here we're working off of as a distraction. So I'm just gonna kind of show you what I do with him every time we work with him. And he really likes to work. It gives him a sense of peace and calmness. It's not something that makes him stressed, but there's rules and boundaries that are involved, and it helps his brain a lot just calm down and process information in a better way. Okay, Smokey, let's go. So the first thing that we're doing is we're working on a heel. And so heel is mindset, it's position, it's focus. I want him to be able to heel with me. He's not being pushy with me. He's not trying to play with my feet. I like doing the power loop with him because it controls the head. But I also want to see, can you do this with just a leash dragging on the ground and I'm not using the leash a ton, though it's there if I need it. So this is really important to make sure that the position is smooth. I'm not bumping him. He's not bumping me. Occasionally he'll kind of itch his face. And unless it gets crazy where he's doing it constantly, I let it go. But if he does do it constantly, I will give him a little tap on the e-collar. So I want to be able to turn into him. I want him to cater to my space like that, how I kind of pushed him away. If I feel like he's being pushy, I'm going to push back, because that's how we gain respect with him, is we don't let him bully us as he's healing, because he has that personality where he's just going to kind of bulldoze through you. And so I'm going to say, no, this is my space. and I'm going to claim it because that's huge for him. That what a lot of people try to do is they'll like shy away from the dog, and the dog is like, I can control you with my bossiness and my pushiness. And then we feed into that and we actually create a more bossy dog. And so then when we come around people that he doesn't have a relationship with, he'll try those tactics on them, and we want to make sure that he's not trying that on anybody. So good job, buddy. Smokey down. So practicing some down stays. This is different than place. This is a full position where his elbows are down and his butt is down. And I'm going to give him some food here. So like I said, I really like bringing the food into this with him. He is a young dog, and we want to make sure that with any young dog, we are developing them in a way that we want them in the future. So for some of these defensive things that he gets, where he gets like nippy about certain things of like, I want to get on the couch and I don't want you to get me down, I'm going to use leash and I'm going to use food. So I'm going to have the leash come in and say, no, you're going to get down. I'm not going to fight you with my hands. I'm not going to like fight you with my body or anything, but the leash is going to communicate, get down. And then the food can come in and say, good job, buddy. That was great. But I don't use the food to bribe him. I use the leash to come in and claim space and ask that he does it and follow through with that ask, and then I can come in and reward. So the food is really great, but I don't want it to be a bribe. I want it to be a reward because there is a difference. So good job, buddy. Smokey, heel. Good. And with heel, I'm healing him in the grass. Sometimes I hear him on the pavement. What puppies have a tendency to do is drop their nose and sniff or put something in their mouth that we don't want them to. And so there's a lot of impulse control being implemented here where he has to keep his head up. He can't drop his nose. I correct him if he does. So I want to just make sure that he's doing all of these things he's supposed to be doing. And he can look at the ground. I'm not worried about that. It's just if he's dropping his nose. If I feel like he's getting stuck where he's not following me, I can just do a turn away and use e-collar to get him in position here. I always want him getting into the position, even if I turn into him and push him out of my space like I'm doing here. He has to cater to it. He's like, oh, that's kind of annoying. But he's got to cater to me. I don't want to cater to him. I want him to do the work for me. And that is what sets the tone for boundaries in the relationship, a relationship of trust and rules and manners. And because I think sometimes in our culture is we treat dogs like people. And they're not people, they're animals, and we can love them and have a great relationship with them. But just remembering that like we're a pack leader to them is huge. Like we come in and we lead and we set the tone and we control situations with them is so important for these dogs to thrive, because dogs go insane when they think that they're in the pack leader role or the decision-making role. And that leads to a lot more anxiety in dogs and a lot more aggression. And honestly, the number one reason why I get called is because that's been happening with dogs. So we want to make sure that he's a young dog and we're setting that tone right with him. But he's doing so good. I'm really proud of him. Smokey, place. He's doing good. I'm kind of thinking in our session tomorrow, we maybe talk about a good go home time for him to come home and be with you guys. And that go home session will be longer than the little sessions that we've been doing. So kind of maybe think of a day where you could spend maybe 3 hours. So if there's a day that you have off where we could do it in the afternoon where we've got some sunlight, that would be awesome. If not, we can kind of plan accordingly. So go home session day is a long day, and then we'll do some follow-ups and things with him as well. So anyway, talk to you soon.